Om Purnamidam Purnat Purnmudachyate Purnasya Purnmadaya Purnmeva Vasishyate. So welcome to our Saturday morning session. Today we will continue on our previous topic and we will try to finish this topic today, though it is interminable, but we will try to finish it today and start a new topic next week. So we will start with a quote from Socrates, which I find very fascinating in the context of happy and fulfilled life. The quote reads like this: if you don't get what you want, you suffer. If you get what you don't want, you still suffer. Even when you get exactly what you want, you still suffer because you can't hold on to it forever. Your mind is your predicament. It wants to be free of change, free of pain, free of the obligations of life and death. But change is law, and no amount of pretending will alter that reality. So Socrates says that you suffer when you get what you want exactly because you cannot hold on to it. You suffer when you get what you don't want. You suffer when you don't get what you want. So these are the real life situations for each one of us. We will elaborate on them in slightly, but I will start with the phrase that each one of us in our pursuit of happy and fulfilled life should start thinking that I am a divine being. I am a peaceful divine being. I think this is the beginning of a very happy and fulfilled life. Keep reminding oneself time and again that I am a divine being, I am peaceful, I am compassionate, I am part of the Almighty. This reminder will transform the personality of a person slowly, but definitively. So, this is one thing which we should start. The other important thing is, which we just saw in the quote from Socrates, that this universe is ever changing process. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna has called it Shan Bhangur, कि यह संसार क्षण भंगुर है. That every shan is a very small, it's like not even a second, it's a many second. Every shan, every moment of life, the world is changing. And since the world is changing, we cannot find stability in that changing atmosphere. And therefore, we will always be unstable if we continue to remain in that world. And that is what Socrates meant when he said that you would be unhappy even if you get what exactly you want because you cannot hold on to it forever because of the very law of nature, which is change. So we should keep these two things in mind, that I am a divine being, I am peaceful. Secondly, this world is ever changing, it is unstable, and therefore I cannot look for stability. I cannot look for a durable or lasting peace and happiness in this world. This is the second portion. The third is that mind has been designed to cope with the problems of this world. And we discussed discussed how mind is linked with time. Mind is all the time changing. If you observe your mind for a few seconds, you will realize that every second it is changing. And many times it changes so fast that you don't even know what is happening inside. So mind is an instrument which is stable. It is designed to facilitate our living in this world, but it is not designed to facilitate our happiness, our stability, and our peacefulness. So this we should understand this third point, that mind is designed for the world, not for peace and stability, not for a fulfilled life. And therefore we have to stabilize the mind to achieve that. We discussed that in our last session, how we can stabilize our mind. We also discussed the nature of mind. Now, if we continue to follow the mind, then we will remain in the cycle of pleasure and pain, because the mind will chase the pleasure. It will get the pleasure for a while, and then that pleasure turns into pain. And then again, you try to chase another pleasure. That pleasure comes to you. You enjoy it for a while, and then again, it turns into a pain. And then again, you continue in that chase. For example, I gave you an example of a person who wanted to have a bicycle. He got a bicycle. He was very happy for a few days. Then he started becoming unhappy because he was looking for a motorbike. And then he worked hard to acquire motorbike. He got that. And he was very happy for a few days. Then again he became unhappy because he saw somebody else driving a car, and therefore he wanted to have a car. And then he worked for the car and he acquired a car. He was happy. Again he was unhappy because he saw somebody else driving a much bigger car. And that chase continues and continues and continues. It's an infinite, interminable chase, and therefore every happiness turns into unhappiness after a little while. This applies to every single facet of life, whether the clothing you wear. You ask your wife, you get a beautiful jewelry set for her. She will be very happy for a little while, and then after a while, she goes to a wedding and she sees somebody else wearing something else. And then she says, no, no, this is no good. Let's buy something different. And then, the chase continues. So this chase is interminable and it is in every facet of life. And therefore, that is not the way to have what we call stable, lasting happiness. Stable and lasting happiness you cannot achieve while traveling with the mind. Mind is actually is a cycle of pain and pleasure, and that is what we discussed in detail last time. Now, therefore, we have to find the axis on which the everything revolves. Now, this is very important, that axis on which the a wheel revolves, the axis on which the fan revolves, the axis on which this संसार revolves. ये संसार जिस धुरी के ऊपर घूमता है, उस धुरी को ढूंढना जरूरी है. वो धुरी जो है, वो हमें स्टेबिलिटी दे सकती है. Now, in this context, we discussed two verses from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13. Those we need to analyze a little more. Now, in those verses, Lord Krishna says that all this Prakriti, that is, all the things which are surrounding you, they are meant for your comfort. You consume them, you use them. There's no problem, as also Isavasya Upanishad says the same thing. But do not get attached to it. Now the attachment does not come from the thing. The attachment comes from the consciousness, from the Chaitanya inside. The consciousness is the cause of attachment. Now the house in which you are living, The house has no attachment to you. Whether you live or somebody else lives tomorrow, in the past somebody else lived there, it has no attachment. It never tells you that I love you, I like you, you are, my best friend. It is me. It is my feelings, my bhav, which comes out, says that this is a lovely house, I want to live here. So the attachment comes from inside you, not from outside. The Prakriti does not give you the attachment. The attachment all comes from the Chaitanya, from the Bhav, which comes from Bhav. Now that is the one which needs to be tackled, because that attachment becomes the cause of pain and pleasure. And that is what we will discuss in a little while in little more detail today. Now, everything which changes, everything which changes must have a stable force around which it changes. Without that, no change is possible. This is a universal law. No change is possible without a stable force within that change. And therefore, we have to understand that this changing world is also revolving around a stable force. But unfortunately, that stable force cannot be perceived with our sense organs. जो हमारी इंद्रियां हैं, वो इंद्रियां उस स्टेबल फोर्स को ग्रहण नहीं कर सकती, उस स्टेबल फोर्स को समझ नहीं सकती. इसका कारण क्या है? इसका कारण यह है कि आप उस किसी चीज को देख रहे हैं, उस फोर्स की वजह से आप किसी चीज को देखने में सफल हैं, तो आप उस फोर्स को कैसे देखेंगे? वो फोर्स तो आपके आंखों में बैठी हुई है, जहां से आप और चीजों को देखते हैं. उस चीज की वजह से आपका मन गतिमान होता है. वो फोर्स आपके मन में बैठा हुआ है, जिसकी वजह से मन गतिमान होता है. उस फोर्स को आप बाहर कैसे देखेंगे? इसका बहुत अच्छा विश्लेषण उपनिषदों में दिया गया है. उसमें यह कहा गया है कि उस फोर्स का आप मन से मनन नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि मनन करने की शक्ति उस फोर्स से आती है. उस फोर्स को आप आंखों से देख नहीं सकते, क्योंकि देखने की शक्ति उस फोर्स से आती है. उस फोर्स को आप कानों से सुन नहीं सकते, क्योंकि कानों में जो सुनने की शक्ति है वो उस फोर्स से आती है. तो वो जो फोर्स है, वो जो चैतन्य है, वो जो कॉन्शियसनेस है, that gives you the power to understand the outside world. And therefore, with these sense organs, you are not able to understand that world. This should be very clear. This is very important point. This is the fifth point in our today's discussion. And just to repeat those points again, firstly, that we should think that I am divine, I am peaceful being. Secondly, this world is anitya, this world is ever changing, it is Shanabhangur. Thirdly, the mind is also constantly changing because it is designed for this world. And if we live with the mind, we will roll in the cycle of pleasure and pain all the time. And fourth is that this force, uh, which is uh, which is stable, it is behind all the changes. All the changes are happen around that force. But that force, the fifth point, is that that force cannot be understood with our sense organs. Sense organs are not capable of understanding that force. And therefore, we have to go beyond sense organs to understand that force, beyond even your intellect. The sense organs, the mind and intellect have to be transcended. उनको पार करना पड़ेगा, उनके आगे जाना पड़ेगा उस फोर्स को समझने के लिए. But that is a different topic. We will talk about that on some other day. But right now, the point I'm making is that there is a force which is stable, force which is behind all the changes. And The change cannot be measured without that force. For example, you measure your age. You say, I'm 50 years old. Now, how do you say that you are 50 years old? You relate to a stable force of your birth, that this is the day I was born. That day your body was also born, but it was not really born. You were born. That stable force was born. The body is aging with that force. That force is there. The body is aging 1 year, 2 year, 10 year, 20 year, 50 years. That body, it appears that I was born on that day, but not you. That force was born on that day. And the body has been constantly changing around that force since the birth. And that is why you call yourself 50 years. I hope I'm clear on that. The 50 years is not only your and my definition, because if somebody asks you how old you are, that is the only definition in Sansaric world. But what else can you tell? Your name and your age and maybe your parents' name. All these things which are there, they are changing. They are linked with the birth of yourself. That self is the Chaitanya which was born on a particular date. You and me, that body came with that Chaitanya. The body is changing and the body is 50 years old, not that Chaitanya. The Chaitanya was there on the day of birth, it is there today, and in relation to that Chaitanya, I am 50 years old. This is what we say, and this is what we mean. And this applies to every single entity in this universe. If you say this planet Earth is 4 billion years old, this also applies to that. Because science tells you very clearly that nothing can be created, nothing can be destroyed, not even a smallest particle of रेत कण रेत का कण smallest particle of any atom cannot be destroyed, nor can any atom be added to this world. So this earth also existed before it was actually appeared as earth. It existed in some other form. And that form was there, but in the current form, the earth is 4 billion years old in the current form. But before that, it existed. So our counting starts with the form it took in the form of earth. And then it continues. And then we will say it has a life. We discussed the time factor. We know that everything keeps, depreciating with time, and that is infinite process. Even the life of Brahma, which is 311 trillion and 40 billion years old, even that is not stable. And therefore, this depreciation is a stable process. It will continue. That is what we call change. This is what we call time. Time, change, and mind, these are correlated with each other. And that is what we experience in day-to-day world when we are living. So this is a factor which we must understand, that there is a stable force behind every change, and we have to look for that stable force and not for the change. The change will come and go. It is Shanbhangur. It will depreciate over time. It's like a flowing river. You never step into the same river again, because by the time you step, the water has already gone somewhere else. There's a new river which has come. Similarly, the body keeps changing, all the material worlds keep changing, and therefore we cannot get stability in this material world. We have to look for that dhuri, we have to look for that axis around which it revolves. So this is the fifth important point we should understand. Now, there are two things which I want to explain today, which has a very direct influence on our day-to-day happiness. There are two things, that is self-respect and respect. Now, what is self-respect and what is respect? I think the two words have to be properly understood, then we can resolve some of our internal conflicts very easily, and there would be more clarity in ourselves, in our thinking process. Now, you are, for example, going to your office. You expect, the receptionist will stand up and say you, good morning, sir, how are you? And you enter the office, the receptionist does not stand up, doesn't say good morning, and you become upset and angry. Now you feel that your self-respect has been hurt. Now that is not correct. It is not your self-respect which has been hurt, your respect which you expect from others. Respect that you expect from others has been hurt. You go to your friend's house and you hope that the friend will offer you nice reception. He will receive you warmly and offer you a warm cup of tea and some snacks with it. You go to his house and somehow he ignores you and he is busy with his own affairs, and you feel completely, you feel that my self-respect has been destroyed. Now that is not self-respect. That is the respect you are expecting from that friend. So the respect is the one which you are expecting from outside world, whether it is the situations, whether it is the individuals, whether it is an institution, or whether it is something else. That is the respect you are expecting. Now, what is the self-respect? Self-respect is the one which you earn from inside. For example, I go and steal, somebody's watch from his house. Now, immediately, nobody knows that I have stolen the watch. There's no reaction in the outside world, but your inner self will tell you that you have done something wrong. You should not have done it. Now, that is self respect. The self respect has been hurt because you did something wrong. That is the self respect. A beggar came to your house asking for some alms, and you were rude to him. Forget about this. You keep coming every day. Don't do this. And after he leaves, you feel bad inside that I did something wrong. That is hurting your self-respect. Self-respect is hurt by the things you do in a wrong way, either because your understanding is different, or because you are emotionally charged at that particular moment and you behave in a particular fashion. Now that is self-respect. Self-respect is generated from your existence, from your bhav and bhav. Your existence is your bhav. The feelings that arise from that existence is the bhav. So those bhav, those bhavna, the swabhav, all these words are correlated. Those bhavna, those bhav, those reaction that comes from inside, that is self-respect. You are getting that reaction from inside because you are hurting yourself. You are hurting your own existence. You're going against the very nature of your existence. आप अपने स्वभाव के अगेंस्ट में जा रहे हैं, इसलिए आपका स्वभाव कह रहा है कि ये गलत है. कोई आदमी आया आपके घर के, उसने आपसे पैसा मांगा या उधार मांगी या किसी चीज में कोई मदद मांगी, और आपका पहले आपकी पत्नी से या किसी बच्चे से थोड़ा सा झगड़ा हो गया. जैसे ही वो आदमी आया, आपने उसको फटकार दिया, हु आर यू, व्हाई हैव यू कम हियर, यू बिकम वेरी एंग्री एंड अपसेट on him. Now that is, after a little while you feel, oh, I did a mistake. It will come. It will definitely come to yourself when you have done a mistake. For at least for some time in life. When you become immune, then that reaction stops coming. that I did wrong, that reaction stops coming. But in the beginning, that reaction always comes. And then you will feel, oh, I mistreated that guy. I should not have done that. And that is hurting self respect. So, the self respect is your relationship with yourself, not with the outside world. eh? And that relationship is the source of real happiness. The respect which you expect from the outside world is not a source of real happiness. That is a source of what at the most you can call it transient happiness. A happiness for a short while which exists and then disappears. So, in fact, that expectation and that respect from outside world actually becomes a cause of pain and misery, because you will not get from the world what you expect, what you want. There are millions of people, billions of people living here. There are billions of situations. You cannot turn them around to your own liking. It's not possible. How long can you fight with them? So you cannot expect respect from everywhere, and therefore that becomes a source of your misery, that becomes a source of your displeasure कि मेरी बेटी ने ये कह दिया, मेरे बेटे ने ये कह दिया, मेरी पत्नी ने ये कर दिया, मेरे स्कूल वालों ने ये कह दिया, मेरे पड़ोसी ने ये कह दिया, मेरे ऑफिस वालों ने ये कह दिया. रोज ये झगड़े होते हैं. This is because we do not differentiate between the self-respect and the respect. Respect is an expectation, and this expectation can never be, realized in full, and therefore it will always become a cause of a pain. Always will keep hurting you one after another. Remember this, and therefore we should not have expectations. We should remove those expectations because we cannot change this world around us as per our desire. How can we do that? But we can certainly change ourselves, and that is self respect. We can earn our own respect. So, whatever we do with compassion, we do with honesty, we do with sincerity, we do with the purpose of helping others. You will earn your own respect. That respect will take you forward on the path of happiness, on the path of stability. So I think this was very important thing which I wanted to mention today. This is the sixth important thing, that in order to have a stable, in order to have a lasting happiness, we need to enhance our self-respect, and we have to discard the respect which is based on outside expectations or expectations from outside world. Now, we already discussed in one of our talks that we should not judge others, we should not unnecessarily have expectations from them, because I gave you the example of it, the camel and the grandson and the grandfather, and how they were criticized in every situation they dealt with. So the outside world will always bring you unhappiness, and therefore we don't have to judge others. We have to develop our own self-respect, and that self-respect is associated with our divine being. We are divine being, and we have to develop that divine being, that is self-respect. So this is the sixth point. Now I want to deal with one very important point today, on which I think each one of us should meditate. These are the four words have been used not only in Bhagavad Gita but in many Upanishads also. They are called Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. Janma is birth, Mrityu is death, Jara is old age, Vyadhi is illness. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. These are the four words which have been used. Now, Think in your own self in a quiet time. Do you have any control over any one of them? Can you decide on your birth who will be your parents when you want to come in this universe? Whether you want to come in this universe, and in which country you want to be born, who should be your parents, what should be the educational status in that country, what should be my language? Can you decide? The answer is clear no. None of us can decide on this. We are just thrown into this world by some unknown force and we are here. That is the first. Death. Can anybody decide on the death? That whether I want to die, whether I don't want to die, when I want to die, in what form I want to die, in which city I want to die, amongst with my friends I want to die. None of this can be decided. We are helpless. Despite all the medical sciences, despite all the transportation and communication sciences available to us, we cannot decide on the time and manner of our death. This happens, this is given, and we have to accept it. We are helpless. These are two very big events of our life. The life appears with one event and the life disappears with another event. These are not decided by us. Then Jara. Jara is becoming old. Each one of us becomes old. Can you stop that aging process? Scientists have done all kinds of research. There tremendous work is going on to stop the aging process. Has anybody been able to stop the aging process? No. Nobody has been able to stop the aging process. Maybe with prolonged medication, you can prolong your life by a few years, but even then, you cannot decide on the time of your death, on the manner of your death. Similarly, you cannot stop the aging process. This is the law of nature. It is linked with the time. As the time goes on, the person, individual, even the earth, even the moon, even the sun, everything ages and disappears. That is the natural process. So that is, we cannot avoid old age. Each one of us has to become old when you will find that our sense organs are not working properly, our body is not supporting us. Sometimes we cannot walk, sometimes we cannot talk, sometimes we can't even sleep, sometimes we can't eat properly. All these things are going to happen. This is a given. Nobody can stop it. Jara, Janam Mrityu Jara. Then Vyadhi. Vyati is another problem. Now look at, you can follow all the best principles of yoga. You can follow all the best principles of Ayurveda and modern medicine. You can do, we talked about body health in one of our chapters here, one of our sessions. And we gave emphasis on how to keep the body fit and healthy. Yes, we should try that. Nobody can deny that fact that we have to keep the body in good shape, we have to keep it healthy. But despite that, illness will happen. You have to take it for granted. Illness will happen. Coronavirus has come from nowhere. It has put the very healthy people into a very difficult situation. So illness has to be there. So all these four most important factors of life, Janam, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, these are the first most important events of life. If you think about yourself, they are beyond your control. They happen. They happen without even your knowledge, and you are put in that situation. So the lesson is that you have to accept the reality of this existence. You cannot change the laws of the existence. You cannot fight against the nature. You cannot fight against the 8 billion people who are living in this world. You cannot fight against the situations that are arising between the interaction between man and nature. For example, climate change. Can you change that? It is happening. It is happening because of the collective movement of humanity, the collective direction of the humanity. No person alone can change it, and you have to take the consequences. So, here the point which I want to make is that we should accept the existence as it is. We should not start fighting against it. We should not start complaining against it. We will not succeed in that. The most important things in life, they happen without our knowledge, without our intervention, and without anybody asking from us. That is the nature of this reality in which we are living. And if we realize these 6 factors, 7 factors, I think we can be very happy. You take the things as they are, don't try to change them, but it does not mean that you don't do your duty. You do your duty. You do your duty. Continue to work what you believe is right thing to do. Do that. But don't expect the results will change according to your wishes. No. Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phalesu kadacha. That you have the right to do your duty, but you cannot manipulate or cannot change the outcome of those actions. That is not possible. The outcome comes from the samasti. There are millions of factors that decide on the outcome. How we met in the MBA classroom, there are millions and billions of factors behind that, how we studied together, how we were there at that time, and how we have come together again. There are factors which are beyond our conception at times. So, this is very important to accept the world as it is and move forward. Then your pain will diminish, your fight will diminish. You are not fighting against an enemy which you can never win. You flow with the current, you flow with the existence, but continue to do your work. That does not mean that you should not do your work. Continue to do your work, but don't fight with the existence, don't fight with your surroundings. Your peace will be restored, your happiness will be restored, your anger will be reduced. That is very, very important. So, these are the points I wanted to make today, and I wanted to conclude this session by summing up the points once again. The first important point is that we are part of Satchit Anand, and therefore Anand is our basic nature. We are also Chit, means we are also Chetna, we have Chaitanya. That is also our basic nature. Sat, Chit, and Anand. Chit is Chaitanya, Sat is eternal, that Chaitanya is eternal, and Anand, that is also part of our nature. So we are part of that divine nature. We should think that we are divine. That is one first point to be happy. The second point, this body has been given as a vehicle. We should keep this body in good shape to the extent possible. Still, Jara will come and Vyadhi will come, but don't worry, try to keep it in good shape. That is the second point. We should keep our mind clean to the extent possible. Don't put too much garbage inside the mind. As you put more garbage, it will give you more unhappiness because the garbage will start smelling after a little. That is very important. For this purpose, we also discussed the importance of our association. That is, Kavira Sangati Sadhu ki, jo gandhi ki vas, jo kuch gandhi de nahi, to bhi vas suas. That Kavira ने कहा कि आप अगर किसी इत्र बेचने वाले के साथ रहेंगे तो वो आपको, आप इत्र खरीदें नहीं खरीदें उससे कुछ भी नहीं, तो भी कुछ ना कुछ आपको उससे सुगंध मिल ही जाएगी. इसी तरह से, if we live in a good company, I think our mind will get good inputs, our body will get good inputs, we will get good, what we call vibrations inside the body, and that will help in our happiness. These are one part of it. Then we talked about the time factor. The time is always infinite. It leads to what you call change and motion in this world, and that motion is a law. It keeps this world unstable. It keeps it shanbhangur, and therefore we cannot expect stability from there. We have to discover the stable force around which this time revolves, around which all the wheels revolve, and that force is inside us. That is our very existence, our very chaitanya, and that can give us stability. That is extremely important. Then we have to keep track of our mind, because mind is designed for navigating into this world. It is not designed to associate with our own self, and therefore we have to stabilize the mind. We had a session on that, very detailed session, how we can stabilize our mind, how we can periodically clean our mind, how our food can affect our mind, our company can affect our mind, and therefore it is important that we give some time to keep our mind in a stable situation. We clean it periodically, and we do some meditation, and we do some internal thinking to stabilize the mind. And then we discussed about uh, respect and self-respect, that how respect from others will land us in problems because we can't get what we want. And that is what Socrates also said. And self-respect is the one which can stabilize ourselves, which can bring a link between me and myself. And that stability will give me more and more self-respect, which every single action, if we try to realize it and stabilize it every time. And that self-respect should be strengthened, not the respect. Respect, we should ignore that part, what others are doing, because we are not supposed to, be dependent on others. We are not slave of others. If we are depending on others, good words for us, it means you have become their slave. Their good words can make you happy, their bad words can make you unhappy, means you have become their slave. That is slavery, that is not liberation. And we are not looking for that slavery. We are looking for liberation, which is coming from self respect, not from outside respect. And then we have to accept the world as it is. We cannot change the world, we cannot fight against the nature, and there are billions of forces working here. We have to accept as it is, but we continue on our own course, we continue on what we believe, and we continue to do that. And we have realized that most important things in life, including Janam Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, they all happen without our anybody asking from us. They are guided by the very existence of this nature, very existence of this world, very existence of this existence, to call it that way. And therefore, we have to accept them as reality, and we don't have to be unhappy because of these very important factors impacting us in some way or the other in the path of our journey in this world. So I think if we can somehow able to regulate these things and navigate ourselves towards that stable force, towards that self respect, towards that comfort zone in which me connecting with myself, I think we can achieve a very happy and fulfilled life. But so long as we are dependent on outside forces, dependent on the employer and the employees and the mother and father and wife and son and the neighbor and this institution, that institution, then we cannot achieve that happy and fulfilled life. Happy and fulfilled life, the source is inside us, not in the outside world. So I would stop here on this particular topic. And as we discussed, on next Saturday, we will take the topic of emotional stability, which is very important, particularly in this COVID time. Thank you very much. If you have any question, please do ask me.